prefer, Arsenal fans? Would you prefer Fabian Ruiz, Mika Moreno, or should Arsenal try and get both and get two midfielders to strengthen next season? But let's get into the main story then, people. Coming today by this guy called Duncan Castles. He's got about 203k followers on Twitter, on X. He's from the Transfer Podcast, journalist. People saying this guy is pretty reliable. I obviously don't know. I've not heard of him until today but he's the one who's actually, broke this story. So at the moment, you could just say it's rumors. It's not any of these, top tier, sort of Fabricios, like David Ornstein's, like these types of journalists, like not, these, they've not reported it as of yet, but it's the same story with when I think he was linked with Sesko. It was like more like these types of journalists reporting it first, and then Fabrizio ended up reporting it. So you never know, but this is coming from this guy here, Duncan Castles. Don't know how reliable he is, but yeah, Arsenal have initiated discussions with PSG regarding Fabian Ruiz. Since he transferred from Napoli, Ruiz hasn't been a regular starter for PSG. The deal will likely be a loan deal with an obligation to buy. So that's the whole context of the deal there, guys. It's apparently going to be a loan deal with an obligation to buy for Fabian Ruiz. And as I said, it's coming from this guy here. So yeah, guys, get your thoughts in about this guy. Is he the guy for Arsenal? I feel this guy, I hear what people are saying. Yeah, it would be the perfect replacement for a Granit Xhaka type player that we've been missing, last season in the number 8 role. I agree. I think would do phenomenal. Now, obviously, I think we all saw the Euros and how unbelievable the guy was in the Euros. He was arguably one of the best midfielders out there. I think he was up there for player of the tournament in the Euros. The way how he was playing, he scored a few goals, got himself a few assists, but just his overall play was a big part, I believe, why Spain went on to win the whole thing, because he's in presence in the midfield. Of course, players like Rodri. Yeah, he got player of the tournament. I don't think Rodri played well, yeah, but I think Ruiz actually better if I'm basing it off what I've seen in the Euros. I thought he was fantastic in the Euros, and he's been struggling to get the game time at PSG. He's actually the exact same age, I'm pretty sure, as Mika Moreno. I think they're both 28. So they're both 28 years old, and obviously they're both Spanish. It's kind of like Arteta looking at these Spanish midfielders, to come in as one of our new midfielders, because he's looking at Zubamendi, looking at Mika Moreno, looking at, Fabian Ruiz. He kind of wants a Spaniard in there, because, we're looking at about 3 midfielders. And as I said, he's not obviously been getting that game time at PSG. He'd probably, for a loan deal as well, I'm sure he'd want the move himself. And also, I think you got to remember as well, PSG are signing that Benfica midfielder, I'm pretty sure. There's been heavy talks about them signing, that Benfica midfielder, João Neves, I think, from obviously Benfica. PSG looking at him. So him coming in, ultimately, will also mean that Fabian Ruiz chances next season of playing, because I think they play they play for Tinha as well, the Portuguese midfielder in there. And now obviously that João Neves is going to come in for them as well. It's going to be very hard for him to get game time next season. I do remember this guy when he's at Napoli as well. I've always just thought about Fabian Ruiz as like, just a very well-established player. He's a very well-established baller. He's just, I hear what people are saying. I think would be very good, because I thought that's what we missed last season, is someone in that number 8 role to really do what someone like Granit Xhaka did. And I know Xhaka had one good season out of how many, but in that one good season, he was phenomenal, and he was a big reason why we were in the title race. And when we have a good number 8 there, we know how important it would be for someone like on the left-hand side, for players like Martinelli, for example. I think he thrived off of having someone like Granit Xhaka there last season. Even like Zinchenko, when he's inverting, was good going forward because of number 8, I believe, as well. Defensively, we know it's shambolical, and he's so bad that season when we had Granit Xhaka. So I think we missed that last season because, Arteta was trying to play, Kai Havertz in there, and that obviously never worked out. And eventually he found that Havertz would be more suited to, the centre forward role. Then he was playing players like Trossard. I remember trying to play Trossard in the left centre mid against Brentford, and I think he obviously tried with like players like what's the guy's name? Obviously, Declan Rice. What's the guy's name? Declan Rice, as we know. And as I said before, when I was talking about Mika Moreno coming in, I was like, I would love to see Declan Rice, play in the number 8. I thought Rice played very well last season when he was shifted in his number 8 role, when he was playing a lot more advanced. I think Rice can do both jobs really well, as I said, guys. But as I said, I really do like when Declan Rice does play number 8 because he has more freedom, it seems. And, he's very good going forward, I believe, as well. Look, but Fabian Ruiz coming in for me will go straight into number 8. And I think is that sort of replacement. And the deal as a whole as well, I think it's decent because it's a loan deal. Yeah, it's a loan deal with obligations to buy as well. So if the loan obviously comes out, sorry, if we do the loan deal obligation to buy, it means when it gets to the end of the season, we can obviously permanent, similar to what we did with like Ceballos, I think, weren't it? When we signed the Danny Ceballos, got him on a loan deal, and then I think we loaned him out again for another season. He came back for another season or whatever it was. That's what we can do. We can see, with these loan deals, a player comes in, he hits the ground running. We can, think about keeping him. It's the same with, if the player doesn't hit the ground running, it's obviously we haven't spent a lot of money. All we're paying for the guy is, I think, all you do is pay his wages, and then obviously obligation to buy means if towards the end of the season, if you want to buy him permanently, then we'll obviously have the fee to buy him permanently there. So yeah, I think it's a decent deal. And let me know, guys, who would you prefer in there? Would you prefer someone like Fabian Ruiz? For me personally, I would prefer Fabian Ruiz just based on what I've seen of both of the players. I don't think, as I said, I don't think with Mika Moreno, I'm not calling him a bad player, but I think just coming in, I think we need a natural number 8 in there. And I think Fabian Ruiz is a natural number 8, whereas Mika Moreno is more of like, can play more in the 6, as we know. And Moreno's more like that physical type player, that sort of, has a bit of athletic about him. Like, he has, he's more physical. I think Ruiz is like more, technically gifted and is a lot more technical as well, I believe. Obviously, like, look, Spanish ballers are Spanish ballers. Yeah, Spanish midfielders, we know how technical they are. But I just think someone like Ruiz, I think will suit a lot more. Obviously, will suit a lot more for Arsenal than someone like Moreno would. But again, could we go and get both to really like max this midfield and become the new Spain, bro, in the midfield? Like, it's mad. Like, Arteta is looking for these Spanish midfielders. He's looking at Zubimendi, looking at Moreno, looking at Ruiz. But yeah, obligation means you have to buy it. Oh, is it? That's what obligation. Oh, there we go. Big up Wayne. Oh, wow. So obligation means you have to actually buy off the loan. There we go. So even if he like comes in and flops, we can't send him. We can't just say, you can't like send him back. We have to buy him. There we go then. Big up Wayne for that. So there we go. Looks like, yeah, a loan for the first season. Then we have to, buy him for however much fee. But yeah, anyway, guys, of course, get your thoughts down below. As I said, this is coming today from this guy called Duncan Castles. Again, I've not heard a lot about him. I don't know how reliable he is, but we'll see how this one develops, of course. Arsenal in for, Fabian Ruiz there as well. I'm going to talk about Smith Rowe in a minute, guys. I'm going to talk about